tradition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find.
All right, so here we go.
Here we go.
All things real estate.
All things real estate.
You know, well, are you ready?
Sorry about that.
All right, so let's jump right in. Got a lot of interesting stuff to cover today. You know, I always start off with market stats. And I feel like I'm a weatherman in Orange County.
No doubt, right?
Because it doesn't matter if it's October, August, it's always
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it's 75 and sunny, right? And so
Exactly.
kind of the same thing. The only thing I will say is that we are slowly creeping up in inventory.
Yeah.
We're almost to 700 single family homes, which is still obviously low based on historical standards. But we're also seeing the number of coming soons come down as well.
Yeah.
So it's the time of year.
It's interesting because I'm being challenged a little bit with, you know, we're used to putting a listing on the market almost in any, not any condition, but yeah, we do our job with it, right? Sometimes we'll sell them just the way they are, whatever. But generally speaking, I mean, within 4 or 5 days, we've got 10, 15 offers on these things and they're gone. Even though we have such low inventory, I'm getting stuck with some listings that aren't selling right now, right? And it's that mental shift.
Well, but I think there's some specific reasons for those, right? I mean, like you've got one with construction next to it that's causing some buyer concern.
Specific issue, a 3-bedroom that, you know, people, you know, so
There's a huge buyer pool for 4 bedrooms right now, as opposed to 3 bedrooms. I see from an appraisal standpoint, it's what, 75 to 100,000 for a bedroom.
Sure.
I think right now it's a little bit inflated, and I'd say there's just people flat out not looking at 3 bedrooms.
Right, but there was. I mean, listen, you guys know I'm not one to overprice anything, right? But I got to tell you, I'm a little challenged with some of those unique properties where it used to be that there was that margin of error on those things where people would look past those distractions, right? Now they're getting a little more picky with it, and it's probably because they don't want to get stuck with those interest rates, and they're kind of pulling back a little bit. So if it's the right property. I agree with the property. That's the question. If it was a 4-bedroom, it'd probably be gone. Yeah,
it's a big footprint, kind of like Ben and Holmes. I thought it could have been a little bit tricky for Ben. It was a 3-2, maybe 3.5. Right. Great square footage. Bedrooms were super small. Right. And it was not a 4-bedroom.
Well, and as we know, to your point, that families are going to look for a 4-bedroom because even if they got 4 people in the family, each kid wants their own room, and then you need one for a home office nowadays. So a 4-bedroom.
A ton of move-up buyers in the market who are less affected by interest rate than someone jumping in for the first time. So.
All right. So, that said, not much going on inventory-wise. We don't expect it to change. I would say over the next 12 months, we're just going to kind of be in this, just kind of this holding pattern of 600 to 800 homes probably, which is not that much.
It is interesting how we're seeing inflation come down. I was surprised to see that CPI June was like 2.9.
Rates?
I think it's 3.2 today.
Came out today? Did the Fed meeting happen today or something?
I know Michael from RE Mortgage Advisor said that they were thinking they weren't going to raise it, but yeah, it's supposed to be today.
When did CPI come out?
Well, it comes out every month, right?
I know, but this at the end of the month or beginning?
It'll be at the end of the month.
Okay.
Or the beginning of the following.
And they're expecting it to continue down?
It's going around 2% right now.
Well, it was 2.9 in June, which was the lowest. Then it went back up to like 3.2 for August.
Right.
So we'll see.
And that's year-over-year numbers, and the Fed likes to see about 2% a year.
Right. And keep in mind, we were up as high as what, 9?
Yeah, it was
9 plus a year ago, or
9 plus.
I know, crazy. All right, so let's transition into developing San Jose. So a couple of things, Aaron and I were talking earlier, but a couple projects that I wanted to highlight. Right off of West San Carlos, kind of by Bascom, there are some antique shops, some old buildings there, and the city has just approved a 7-story, 225,000 square foot senior center. It's going to include 246 beds, 61 apartments, and then 6,000 square feet of retail space. So that'll be interesting. The other thing too, and I think we talked about this once before on the podcast, but it's actually, they had to incorporate it into San Jose because it was county. It was county land, and a lot of people don't know that there are several areas in San Jose that may have a San Jose mailing address, but they are actually it's county land.
And ways that you can tell for the most part are 5-digit addresses and no sidewalks. That's kind of
and the color of the street sign.
Yeah, blue. Blue is county, right?
Blue is San Jose. right? Or is it brown?
Green.
Now you got me all mixed up.
Brown is Los Gatos, blue is unincorporated or Campbell, and then green is San Jose.
Yeah. And to your point, like in Los Gatos, the areas that don't have sidewalks, that's counted, right? And they will annex you in if, I think we talked about that on one of the podcasts before. If you keep it as a remodel, it'll keep you, but...
Yeah. But then what's the difference of being with the county versus the city?
No transfer tax, so you don't get city services, right? So sheriff comes out. You don't get to vote for the mayor.
True.
And then the transfer tax. There's other minor stuff too, like sidewalks.
Especially
and
in San Jose, that would be a big thing because no Measure E tax, right?
It's a big thing if you go to sell your house, right? But if you're not selling your house, doesn't really.
And for people wondering why you keep seeing sales at 19999, it's because of the San Jose conveyance tax, which if you have questions, we could dive into. But anything over $2 million is another tax.
Yep.
So
it gets expensive.
Essentially, $2,010,000 is net negative versus 19999.
There you go. South San Jose, some interesting stuff. So a lot of you familiar with Oak Ridge Mall or Westfield Oak Ridge Mall. Right across the street, there's a huge shopping center. It's got Bevmo, Party City, Buffalo Wild Wings. The guys that own that have just submitted a proposal to the city to turn that into residential housing.
That's not where Home Depot caught on fire?
No, it's kitty corner to that. Yeah, so as soon as you come off of 87.
That's always been a challenging shop.
And it was also like a record store at one point.
Yeah, Tower Records.
Tower Records.
Yeah, once upon a time. So the guys that own it submitted a proposal. They want to add 137 townhomes, and then this was interesting, 35 ADUs. So it looks like that'll pave the way for that. They're going to keep some of the retail that's there. So there is a Vietnamese pho place, there's a Chinese food place, there's Buffalo Wild Wings. So that's
on the end cap or the cap by the intersection?
I think it's I think that I 1,000,000% agree with, and I think it's a great spot for it.
Yeah, and then just right up the street, if you remember the fish market where the Black Angus used to be, well, Black Angus is still there. Fish market, and I think the Pier 1 they tore out. And they're putting a 271 unit residential complex.
I also like that location for that.
Yeah, I think San Jose's done a great job with opening it up to developers, and they have the infrastructure to support it. I know I was just reading some articles regarding Los Gatos, and everybody's up in arms here in Los Gatos with some major projects that we have coming on. And the argument is our infrastructure is a little bit more challenging than a big city like San Jose is, right? I mean, with traffic and just the school impactions and everything else. So it's, obviously we want to be supportive of growth and adding housing to the mix. But every place has its own challenges.
Well, on the way to Double D's for lunch, shout out Double D's, I was showing Jeet the latest development proposal, which is to fill in Vasona Lake and put 10,000 new development structures.
Where in the hell did you do that? I think that's by Durbachers.
Hey, that's the last place to do it.
That's how rumors get started.
You're just the jokester,
right?
He was pulling your legs there.
We were like, how much would that be worth?
Yeah, what does Lakefront in Los Gatos go for?
It's all in zoning, right? I mean, look at La Rinconada Country Club, right? I mean, I've been a member there for 12 years, and I didn't know that when I first bought in there as a membership, it's all leased land. It was all leased land. And so when the membership, I think 2 years ago, we voted to buy it, and we wound up buying it, and we got it for an incredible price. Because if you look at it, I believe it was 101 acres, and 101 acres in that area. I mean, imagine what you can put on there, right? However, you would never ever be able to change the zoning of it.
What's the zone does? Golf course?
Yeah, it's hospitality. Yeah, exactly, recreational and stuff. But I'm going to be wrong on my number here. I think it was somewhere between, I probably shouldn't even say it, but it was probably 20% of what
market
of what you, if it was.
Wow.
Like if it was zoned like residential?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, put 1 acre lots there, put 100 estate
So what
homes
would happen if something like that were to go through and a developer bought it and was able to put houses on it? How would the town be affected with all the people that own against the golf course? Like, is that allowed?
That's kind of a loaded question. I mean, obviously, with the whole direction that we're going with SB 330, which is builder's remedy, and it's primarily an issue if you're in the cities and towns that are not meeting the guidelines for federal housing.
Right.
And that's which is Los Gatos, Saratoga. I mean, all these areas are doing that. Now, if you're in an area that is meeting the housing guidelines, then they're going to say, well, wait a minute, there's no reason for us to convert the zoning.
Who's meeting it?
Well, I talked about that 2 podcasts ago. Like, City of San Jose just got their plan rejected, which they thought they would. I mean, it's kind of like submitting plans to build a house and you get
their general plan, or
no, the housing plan.
The housing plan.
That's required by the Fed. And so actually,
that was a 2040 plan.
No, the 2040 general plan is different than the requirement that the Fed or California.
So they tried to put 9,000 houses. They put it on the map or whatever, and then they said no.
Yeah. So for San Jose, I think it was 66,000 home. Over the next 10 years, and so they're working out the finer details. But the deadline it's looming, and so to Mark's point, a lot of these, especially smaller towns, things like that don't have their act together, developers are going to come in and be able to redevelop stuff quickly.
Yeah, and it's going to come to a head pretty soon. I mean, especially when the community members recognize or understand that it's a limited amount of argument they can protest all they want, but to where they can actually stop things from happening. Now, again, the power in the people. We'll see where that goes. Yeah. But we need housing.
However,
it's a major issue.
Guitar Showcase
over on Bascom.
I think that development, people were up in arms about. They're super upset. Oh my God, 5-story building, it's gonna look terrible. I think they did a really good job of incorporating that 5-story building. It could have been way worse.
It's so funny. Everybody wants to complain about it until it's done.
But it looks good.
How many times, David, in our career have we come across these major developments? Santana Row, North 40, all these ones. Yeah. Everybody's up in arms and everything, and then it winds up being built, and it just. Life goes on.
It looks good.
Life goes on.
Yeah, I like it.
And I'm very challenged in Los Gatos because I have a couple projects myself here that have been at the victim of these, just simple lot line adjustments, whatever. And here we are, 3 years down this road. We're probably another year left. But I'm also a long-time Los Gatos resident. So of course you want to protect the beauty of the town and value of the town and everything. But you can't stand in the way of progress. You can do it smart, but.
The town has done nothing, in my opinion, to bring more life into downtown, though.
Oh, that's such another loaded question.
Well, it's not
you got parklets. What about parklets? Come on, man. You got parklets.
When's the last time a great, cool restaurant came down there?
Double D. You gonna be going down this road? Double D's, Gardino's, Forbes Steakhouse, Diodeca.
And speaking of, so Diodeca has that Italian restaurant they opened this.
Yeah, I saw you went there, man.
Excellent,
pretty good place.
Man. Excellent food. Yeah, highly recommend. So anyway, we're gonna get off.
But if you go to San Diego or Chicago, those are cool restaurants.
All right.
I think we have some very cool restaurants here in Los Gatos, which you patronize all the time.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of food and beverage. Arrowhead Water. Arrowhead Spring Water.
Yeah.
All right.
McLeod, California, up in Redding. Or not Redding, it's McLeod, isn't it? Mount Shasta.
Well, this is a California story because California is kind of funny. A lot of the water that's bottled for Arrowhead actually comes out of San Bernardino National Forest.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was all from Mount Shasta.
No.
That's what their logo is. Isn't their logo Mount Shasta?
You're the kind of guy that thinks the Fiji water is actually
it comes from Fiji.
Are you telling me
it comes from the puddles?
I would have argued and bet you money all day long because my mom used to live up in McLeod. They have a factory up there, Arrowhead. Their logo is Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
But it comes out of San Bernardino County.
A good portion of it.
Okay.
And so now California, they're voting or putting a proposal in place to limit the amount of water that Arrowhead can pull out of there. And, and I don't know, obviously not real estate related, but California related, and just kind of interesting to me. I was like, well, how do I feel about that? I mean, most water now isn't actually spring water or water from Fiji.
So
there's very
take it out of the tap and
it's all distilled and yeah. But I don't know. But then also look at like our recent droughts and things like that. And, water.
Well, and I think it's an environmental issue too, more so than that. It's like all the plastic and everything, right? I mean, so I do believe the more longer term we can look at the conservative use of our resources.
Yeah, sustainable
Yeah.
products. Box water.
Box water. Hey, box water is a cool thing.
I don't know.
Liquid
Alaska
death.
Airlines.
That's stupid.
Yeah, Aaron just drinks liquid death.
Liquid Death. Dude, we got to start doing our sponsors, man. Let's make a list.
Yeah, right?
I'm trying really hard to be sponsored by Liquid Death, Rain Energy, and Kane Footwear.
All right, well, keep trying.
With our 6 views on YouTube,
hey.
How are we doing on YouTube?
We're doing great.
600 now.
We passed 200 subscribers.
All right, so we're
wow.
But and again, most of it comes from the podcast platforms. Nobody just sits and watches our entire podcast.
Well, if you do, can
YouTube.
you please like and comment?
Let us know you're watching.
All right. Speaking of real estate, and this is kind of the last thing I want to talk about. on previous podcasts, Mark and I have talked about our wealth building seminars.
Yes.
And we kind of got away from that. Just, COVID got busy and all of that. But another reason why, Mark, you and I need to relaunch that series and get the guys involved too. I sat on a Zoom yesterday. I got a referral from another agent, and the agent says, "Hey, the guy that lives next door to me has it's a tenant situation. He's had this as a rental for years and years and years. The property management company completely screwed him over. They tried to go cheap on a remodel. He spent 50 grand. Contractor disappeared. I mean, just, nightmare stuff. And so he's considering selling." And so the agent says, "Hey, you should talk to David. He works with a lot of investors that sell here and then purchase out of state." So I sat on a Zoom with him and I pulled up 4 triple net properties.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind, he's going to net about $1.8 million from the sale.
Okay.
Right now, his net operating income after property taxes, insurance, all that crap, he's only making about $40,000 a year on this house.
Easily double or triple it.
Yeah. So I pulled 4 for him, 2 Dollar Trees, a Bank of America, Jiffy Lube, just to kind of give him an idea. And Dollar Tree, 15-year lease, full triple net. So just to remind everybody that's listening, it's literally mailbox money, right? The tenant takes care of all maintenance, property taxes, utilities, all of that stuff. That one Dollar Tree nets $115,000 a year, and then gets 10% increases in the option
5 years or so.
Maybe you said this. How much is the Dollar Tree?
The same price. So just over one. Yeah,
Where was that located at, David?
That was in the Columbus, Ohio kind of metro
Which
area.
again, who cares with a deal like that? I mean, when I make that comment to a lot of investors, they'll say, "Well, wait a minute, 15 years from now, okay." Well, in most of our cases, 15 years from now, it's going to be your kids who are going to care.
Yes.
You're going to get some appreciation out of it. You generally will, and you have opportunity for redevelopment. But most of the time on these discount retailers like Dollar General Store and so forth, they renew 93 to 95% of the time.
Yeah, they have over 19,000.
And that's where it's a true home run.
Yeah. They have over 19,000 stores, and they're still growing. Yeah. And this particular building, 1 year old, and 15 years left on the lease. And and
so you personally, you too, I don't own a shopping center, but you would be totally cool with investing in Columbus, Ohio, if the numbers made sense. You don't care where it is. It could be in West Mississippi.
Yeah, it depends on the type of, if I'm looking for stable mailbox money, I pretty much don't care where it's at, as I'm looking more at the tenant and the building. If I can get a brand new build, 15, 20-year corporate guaranteed lease on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a corporate guaranteed lease.
And there's going to be very few problems with the building.
Well, as David said, it's a true, what they're called is absolute triple net investments. That means that anything, parking lot, landscaping, fire, whatever.
Natural disaster. That's one of the things the guy brought up. Is like, what happens if the town floods or a tornado hits it?
Yeah. Now I will say some of these larger
sounds
tenants,
so funny.
Well, they'll have some outclaw. Like for instance, U.S. government leases are kind of a challenging scenario because they can always back out because of lack of budgeting and stuff.
Right.
So there's challenges with it. But to your question, if I'm looking for a solid investment and I can get 1 to 2 points higher on my return by going to Columbus, Ohio, and I got a 15-year stint on it, sure.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. So the gentleman that I had the Zoom with, he's 70 years old. He's going to be 71.
There you go.
He just spent $50,000 on a bad contractor on a house. He lives in Texas. He lives in Houston.
Yeah.
So he's not even out here with eyes on the property. He's making $40,000 a year, and at 71 years old,
headache.
He can go buy a Dollar Tree in Columbus, Ohio, and get guaranteed money for the next 15 years, and probably longer.
And he's going to defer the taxes, right? So was he allowing that money that he'd pay for taxes to work towards his investment, and then God forbid when he passes, his heirs get the stepped up basis. They can sell it with no capital tax gain. So why not?
And he goes and he goes from making $4,000 a month to making $10,000 a month.
Now, would I put a 35-year-old into something like that in Columbus, Ohio? Maybe not. So I mean, you take all those things into consideration.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, to that point, we will be relaunching the Wealth Building, the Wealth Seminar series. We should actually record one and put it up on YouTube like a podcast,
100%.
right? And then definitely get the guys involved this time around too.
We are working on it right now.
We are. I saw the invoice.
Being redrafted.
All right. Well, that's all I had.
Jeet.
What you got, I don't have much.
Jeet doesn't have his notepad out there.
I'm just.
You've been writing offers.
I have been showing a lot of property.
And I saw one today that you actually wrote your offer on, and they're going to go in backup position on it. Is that right?
So yes, I mean it was a property that was on the market for 20-30 days. Showed it over the weekend out in Livermore. I was speaking with the agent throughout the week, and I was like, my clients like it, we're working on an offer. She's like, I have an offer in hand. Then she's like, she has another offer in hand. And I'm like, it's been over 20 days on the market, and all of a sudden she has multiple offers. Turns out she sells it the morning before I get a chance to put my offer in.
You know, that's an interesting scenario, because I've got a property right now that it's so funny when we say this, 2 weekends on the market, right? And you start panicking because you don't have multiple offers on it. And then all of a sudden you have like 2 agents, hey, you know, my clients are thinking about it. Then you get a third agent picking up on it and stuff. So
I think close to town, it's a little tough, because when someone sees a property go on the market and it's week 1, most people think they have to go significantly over if they don't have the right guidance.
Right.
So after a couple of weeks, when people realize that they can get it around list price, then all of a sudden you get multiple offers.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well,
cool.
I guess being in backup position is better than being no position at all, right?
Exactly.
All right. We won't talk about casino night, because by the time we post this, it'll probably be done. But we do have the wine walk, Los Gatos Wine Walk, coming up October 14th-ish, somewhere around there.
Yep.
So,
and I think we already have enough spots filled. I mean, I think it's sold out, but we're always going to get more tickets. So if anybody's interested, let us know.
All right. Other than that, I mean, just looking forward. We got pumpkin giveaways. We've got something special.
Something special for Diwali. If you guys have any ideas, feel free to leave it in our comments. But we are coming up with something special for
Festival of Lights.
Yeah. Diwali.
Oh, yeah, we got
Diwali.
Yeah, Diwali. And we got Festival of Lights coming up. I mean, so a lot of great things happening for us as a team, as well as our clients and our sphere. So that's it for now.
All right.
Hasta luego.
Bye.